I, 33 female, broke up with the father of my 2 children, tween males, 7 years ago. We weren't married. Our breakup was amicable and we co-parented on good terms for a couple of years. Then he met his wife, and once I met her, things changed. It was clear she didn't like me or the fact that my ex and I could get along. When we met, she called me the kid's other mom, implying she was the mom, and she glared daggers in my direction when I told her I wasn't the other mom but just the mom. She would call them her boys, and she said she was a boy mom whenever she spoke to me. She tried to push my ex back and ordered all communication about them to go through her instead of him, and when I refused, she told me I didn't have the right. Once that fight happened, she started sending me photo updates whenever she and my ex had a day out with the boys, or if they did anything with them for a significant amount of time. She'd text me anywhere from 3 to 5 photos and say she had a great day with her husband and her children. I saved all of that because I didn't like her attitude toward me. When I tried talking to my ex about it, he told me she was trying really hard to be good to the boys, and I needed to accept it and help her take on an active second mom role because they had trouble getting the boys bonded to her. I told him how she spoke to me wasn't acceptable, and he said it came from insecurity, and he felt like I was a big enough person to know that. While talking, she texted me saying I had no right to discuss her children with her husband. I showed my ex, and he told me it was just her insecurity. But this was the breakdown in our co-parenting relationship because I didn't appreciate the fact I was supposed to let his wife walk all over me and push me out eventually because it was clear she wanted that. She'd get into a snit anytime she wasn't given full parental access, which means when she wasn't able to add her family and friends to the school pickup list, and she wasn't able to change which pediatrician they went to see. Ex never fought me too hard on that stuff, but she sure as heck tried to. She also hated that she couldn't take them out of state to visit her relatives whenever she wanted. She introduced herself as the kid's mom every time we went to a PT conference or she attended a medical appointment for our youngest, who has some health issues. We actually returned to court twice over this. Ex and her were told by the judge that she was not the mother of the children and she did not have the right to impersonate me when it came to school or medical settings. The judge also warned that the court would not take kindly to any alienation of the children. Ex's wife tried to claim I was engaging in it and that the proof was in the kids not calling her mom even though they were very young when she became their mom. The judge asked for proof and claimed that wasn't proof. The second time there was a documented incident of her saying she was the kid's real mom in front of them, and the judge restricted certain things she could do. She can't do drop-offs of the kids, and she can't show up to appointments or school meetings that require both parents. That decision made her angry immensely, but the good thing is she contacts me far less now, which works for me. I try to make something like co-parenting work with my ex and I focus on the kids, but apparently my ex and she have been through some stuff. She found out she couldn't have biological children and they were rejected for adoption. The boys have expressed that they don't like her, which I knew a little about because my ex requested permission for family therapy for them, which I consented to because we already had the boys in individual therapy. However, therapy has not helped foster a closer relationship. She came to me when they had the boys and info dumped all of this onto me at the front door to my house. I almost closed the door on her, which she noticed, but she kept talking about her issues and then told me to have some compassion for her and at least hear her out and try to help since we're both the mothers of the boys. I rolled my eyes when she asked me for compassion. I didn't even try to hide it, and I had no sympathy for her. None. I can't say I'm upset that my kids don't like her, seeing as I think it would open the avenue for her to try harder to push me out and possibly open them up to being alienated from me. She got into another snit at the door and I told her to leave. She was insulting me, but I moved away from the door so I couldn't hear her. She followed up with 10 texts that night, and then my ex told me I owed his wife an apology for rolling my eyes at her. Now, maybe I was wrong to roll my eyes at her like that. Maybe I could have been more mature. So, am I the idiot for rolling my eyes at my ex-wife when she asked me for compassion? Not the idiot. Your husband's new wife is a few Fruit Loops short of a full bowl of cereal. She is not playing with a full deck of cards. Her mental elevator stalls on the 4th floor. How was she so rude and nasty towards you and then basically begs you to get your kids to like her? Whatever that means, I don't know. I assume she wanted to be placated, meaning you tell them to be nice and treat her the same way they do you, which is insane in itself. Geez, she's a fruitcake. OP, she might be a fruitcake, but you're not obligated to host the bake sale of her insanity. I literally rolled my eyes at her whilst reading this, so it was a pretty normal reaction. I think you need a no-contact order against her. It should be you and X. She shouldn't be involved to the point of showing up at your door. Could you have been more mature? Sure. Could she have been less lunatic? Also sure. Tell your ex you'll apologize for rolling your eyes when she apologizes for being an insufferable and egotistical being. You've been very patient with her and their ex so far. I assume she knew before starting she couldn't have kids on her own, and therefore was so obsessive over the kids from the start. What is the reason they got rejected for adoption? Maybe her obsession and craziness? Thankfully, courts are on your side. Keep on doing what you're doing and try to ignore her as much as possible. Update. She said it was the illness she had as a teen that apparently gets you rejected for adoption on health grounds. That's all I know. Apparently she only found out about not having bio kids in the last 2 years. Although she claimed it was because of an illness when she was a young teen, I would have thought it would be something she'd have known. Ignoring her has been easier since she backed off, though I'm not sure she'll stay away after this, but hopefully she goes back to pouting and leaves me alone. My sister, 31, and I, female 34, married around the same time 7 years ago. She decided to have kids right away. My husband, male 35, and I decided to buy a house first, travel a little, and have enough savings before having kids. My sister now has 4 kids. I'm currently pregnant with our baby. I've been dealing with hyperemesis gravidarum, HG, and it's been brutal. Luckily, my mother-in-law and my husband have been amazing to me, and my boss has allowed me to work from home until I give birth. My mom can't help me much because she helps out my sister's 4 kids a lot. Yesterday was my baby shower that my sister-in-law threw for me. People kept asking about how I was doing, and I was talking about how HG is horrible. My sister decided to interrupt me and said, "Honestly, this is what happens when you get pregnant when you're old. I've had 4 pregnancies and never had these issues. I guess you should have thought about this before all those trips and the 'we're not ready yet' BS. Some of us made sacrifices in our 20s. I got furious. This wasn't the first time she commented about my life, so I told her to get out. She grabbed my nieces and left. My mom said I was being hormonal and should have just ignored her. My mom thinks my sister said that because she became a mom earlier than me and never enjoyed her life or even any alone time with her husband. My husband thinks I had every right to be upset because she was saying I deserve HG. Do I owe my sister an apology for kicking her out? Not the idiot. Sis is clearly just jealous and can't handle it. Glad you have great in-laws to support you while you deal with a garbage sister and a mom who can't support you. Yeah, I can't imagine being a mom with a daughter having significant health issues during her pregnancy and not jumping in to support her. Both mom and sister stink. She's enabling your sister. She's probably always been entitled too. Please keep them both away from you for the rest of your pregnancy and at least a few months after you give birth. You deserve to enjoy every moment, and they will take any chance to ruin your joy. That is very solid advice, and OP's sister couldn't be more wrong. Age is a factor in the risk of developing HG. I looked it up. But get this. Yes, age is considered a factor in the development of hyperemesis gravidarum, HG, with younger women being at higher risk of experiencing this condition. Studies often show that women under 20 years old have an increased likelihood of developing HG compared to older pregnant women. So she couldn't be more wrong. LOL. I, 36 male, and my wife, Sally, 37, have been together for 5 years and have 2 boys, Nick, a preschooler, and Ivan, a toddler. Sally moved back to my state to be with me, but she never found a job that was a good fit, so she's been home since we had Nick. When Nick was born, she wanted to breastfeed but struggled, so we switched to formula while she tried pumping. Because she was recovering and pumping, she said she couldn't handle night feeding, so I did every single one. She also felt overwhelmed being alone with Nick during the day, so my sister, who lives 45 minutes away, started watching him. I handled almost all the pickups and drop-offs. Even with that, I still did all the bathing and feeding at night. It was the same story when Ivan was born, but even more extreme. Sally never got up once at night with him, not one single time. Now both boys are in daycare and I handle waking them up, getting them ready, taking them to daycare, working, picking them up and bringing them home. Meanwhile, Sally mops once a week, does laundry and makes dinner, though dinner is usually boxed mac and cheese for the boys and something air-fried for us. I'm exhausted. When I get home, I can't do anything until the boys are in bed because Sally rarely takes care of them alone. We've had multiple fights about this, and in the past she said she doesn't want the kids and even talked about divorce. A few months ago, during another fight, she changed her tune and said that if we split, she wanted to take Ivan. I shut that down immediately, not only because the boys are extremely close, but also because she's never even woken up at the same time as them before. I don't trust her to take care of Ivan alone. About a month ago, I finally told Sally I needed help. Any help. Even just getting out of bed when the boys wake up to help feed them, change them, or get them into the car. She said she'd try. It's been over a month. Nothing has changed. I brought it up again and she got defensive, saying I don't appreciate what she does. She also said mopping is hard and hurts her body, so there's no way she can do more with the kids. Then she told me that since I insisted on keeping both kids if we ever divorced, it's my responsibility now and I deserve to be exhausted. I don't know what to think. I'm just tired. I just want some help. But maybe I really am being an idiot for asking. Am I the idiot? Edited to add info. My wife has had counselling multiple times, including EMDR. We did couples counselling a few years back as well. Nothing has helped so far. I also did some talk therapy and am planning to start again. Also, she refuses to even consider medication. My wife is not originally from this country and was disappointed in the help she received from my family. Also, she is resentful at having given up her friends and life in her city to move in with me. She feels like she never should have moved here. Also, she does some light cleaning, so the house is not a disaster. We have a robot vacuum that helps with the main level. We've mostly had to hire someone to come clean every few weeks though. I should add that this is her third marriage, and this is my first. She's shown a pattern in the past of running away from problems, but before getting married, we discussed that. Not the idiot. Tell her that since she doesn't want to be a wife or mother, she needs to leave. Divorce her, get sole custody, and sue her for child support. You've already been a single father for the last few years. It can only get better. Exactly. Show her the damn door and take the legal route for divorce ASAP. Start documenting everything. When divorce is mentioned in a marriage, there's already one foot out the door, and she was the one who said she didn't want kids and that if you split, she'd want to split the boys too. Time to lose the dead weight and file that divorce with a request for full custody. You're already doing everything on your own now anyway, and it sounds like there's a lot of resentment on both parties, which will only get worse. You are the idiot. Why in the world would the two of you have a second child? Parents insist on popping out babies and then complain about actually taking care of them. At least you're trying to do the right thing by the kids. If she continues to put all household and parenting chores on you and isn't working to financially support the family, why the heck are you still with her? I, 32 male, am currently married to a woman named Claire, 32, but about 2 weeks ago we decided that due to unreconcilable differences, we were best off getting a divorce. Irreconcilable differences is extremely generous to Claire, who is a verbally abusive, overspending, alcoholic, lazy, unemployed Instagram and Twitter addict. Now, seeing as I'm the guy divorcing her, I may be biased, but I believe marrying her was the worst decision I've ever made. Last night, Claire and I had an argument. This is a common occurrence. Claire has been dragging her feet on moving out of the house that I own and whose purchase predates our marriage, and apparently my asking when she would start packing crossed some line. Claire was intoxicated, as she often is. She called her male former co-worker to loudly vent about me, knowing it would upset me. I decided to take a walk. It was just going to be a short trip around the block, so I only wore a jogging jacket over a long-sleeve shirt and pants. Well, when I got home, the chain on the front door was latched. I only had the front door key, which doesn't work with any other house doors. I was in the middle of an Illinois suburb at 1 a.m. It was -3 degrees outside. Ringing the doorbell, knocking, calling Claire and shouting through the small space in the door yielded no response. I had no idea what to do. Claire's mother lives near us, but there were two problems. The first was that Claire's relationship with her mother is rocky, and her mother has always been very critical of her. I wonder why. The second was that her mother didn't know we were getting divorced yet, as Claire wanted to tell her when the time was right. Seeing no other option, I called Claire's mother. I explained the entire situation to her, apologised profusely, and asked her to get through to Claire so I could just go inside. She did one better and drove over. Everything changed when Claire heard her mother's voice through the crack in the door. She immediately unlatched it and gave me the dirtiest look imaginable. Claire's mother tore into her like I'd never heard before, so while I excused myself from the situation, I overheard everything. After a short discussion between them, Claire picked up a few pieces of clothing and went to her mother's house. Claire has been texting me non-stop. It's 6 a.m. and neither of us has slept. She tells me that no matter what happened, involving her mother was a dirty move. She insists she would have opened the door for me soon. Was I the idiot here? Not the idiot. Pack the rest of her things, drop them off at your mother-in-law's, change your locks and put up security cameras just in case. This needs to be done today. Doing something that can directly affect your health like this is 100% unacceptable. If she comes over to get things, I would only allow that if you have someone else there as a witness. Very important. Adding this to the above, speak to her only through your lawyer. She locked you out in dangerous weather. What were you supposed to do? Freeze? Calling her mom wasn't a dirty move, it was a survival move. She's just angry because she got called out. She's lucky you didn't call the police. It's your house. Lawyer up. You're going to need one to get her out the house unless she willingly leaves on her own accord. I suggest offering 3 months' rent on a small short-term lease furnished apartment as a transition. Help her move her things. If she's involved, it's her voluntary departure. Then change those locks and don't look back. The cost of the 3 months might be worth it to get her out. Good luck. She sounds like a nightmare.